The Department of Social Development has a draft to manufacture reusable and washable sanitary towels. The hope is to focus on a holistic approach to menstrual hygiene management. We spoke to a few women who expressed if for them reusable pads are the best way forward. Some felt like it was a good idea.
It's a great idea because why? You see, they're giving condoms out for free. So if the budget is okay, why not give the pads also for those girls who really need it, that stays out of school for no reason just because they don't have a pad. But now they're giving the condoms out for protection, so why not?
Abantwana abantu abaninzi banayo imali othenga ii-pads, yabona, and then isikakhulu Eastern Cape, uyabona, kule areas ne abakwazi esikolweni ngenxa yobana bengena-pads, and then ke ngoku nakwiilali wethu zethu, yabona, nje mna ndisuka eMhlanga mna e-Eastern Cape, uyabona, eKomani, so inantsika izikolo zikude, yabona, and then ke ngoku nje zikude nje izikolo, and then umntana xa ezimoshele ke ngoku kuba nzima.
Kwamanye amakhaya akuthathwa ntweni, so abantwana banayo ba-afford ukuthenga ii-pads, so ndicinga uba fanele singanceda kuloo makhaya anjalo.
While some, like Mahlangu Trudy, were hesitant because of issues like hygiene and germs.
Ukuthi into e-right because kunama-germs, like i-pads kuhle kahle kahle bathi silisebenzise for 8 hours, so lokuthi uligeze ulisebenzisa again, I don't think into sharp.
The South African Bureau of Standards explains what Draft South African Standard is and why the public, in particular women, need to have a say in the process.
Yes, the South African Bureau of Standards is the national standards body. So we developed standards by which all products are tested to make sure that the manufacturing process meets the standards that have been promulgated, and that also to give the end user quality assurance that the things that they are buying are actually as good as what the manufacturers say. The second thing that we do at the South African Bureau of Standards is we actually test against those standards. So we would take, for instance, a piece of clothing and we would test the stitches on it, we would test the material, or we would test, say, a protective boot, we would test the soles, we would run the test for many hours to make sure that it was strong enough to resist all of the friction that it was going against. Well, women's health is a very important issue in South Africa, and a number of role players had been discussing various aspects of women's health. And when we looked around internationally and on the African continent, we found that there was no standard for washable, reusable sanitary pads for external use. So a nomination was made to the South African Bureau of Standards. We put the technical committee together, and government was a big driver of this. So we had the Department of Social Welfare, the DTI, the Department of Trade and Industry, and the Department of Treasury, and approximately 16 different private sector organizations, mostly NGOs. And we got them together and we started developing the standard. Now, the standard has been developed, and the number of it is the South African National Standard, SANS 1821. And so what we've done is we've put that out for public comment. So we'd like people to read that and to make sure that they're happy with what that standard is. And if they're not, give us comment, and we will take that into consideration. And then after the 25th of September, we will sit down, finalize that standard, and then we'll promulgate it. What that means for the average person is that anybody that manufactures this product should manufacture it against that standard. And to prove that they've manufactured against that standard, they need to get a testing house, such as the South African Bureau of Standards, to come and test and certify that the product meets that standard. There are certain benchmarks that have to be used. So we look at the composition, the materials that are used, and we test that. We look at how that material is put together, and then we also test it. Can it resist multiple washes, for instance? And we will take that product and we'll test it over and over and over to see that there's no degradation in the material, that it stands up to a certain quality assurance.
The department is hoping that the public will send in their comments at dscomments@sabs.co.za. Busiswa Mahonono for Our City News, Cape Town.